Hello class, hope everybody are fine. I think already you have studied about the chapters food, rocks and minerals, soil conservation. Let us study the fourth lesson from science, that is living things. We can see varieties of things around us, isn't it children? Of course, among them few are living, at the same time few are non-living. So, what do you mean by non living things? How can you say that human beings are living? So, in this lesson, we will be studying to differentiate between living and non living things. We will be studying to differentiate between plants and animals. We will also study the importance of classifying things. Okay? Yes, there is a question here. You know that a dog is a living thing while a rock is non-living thing. Think of the reason why a dog is living and the rock is non-living. Yes, you will have many points to say about a dog and about a dog and about a rock, isn't it? Yes, similarly, you have to think about a car. It moves, it will drink petrol, and it breathes air. So, in which category will you categorize it? Whether the car is a living or a non living thing. Let us study. Let us study how to differentiate the living things as well as non living things. What are the characteristics of living things? So, let us study in detail now, children. As I said, we all can see many things around us. Among them, we see plants and animals. If we consider plants, we can see a number of plants around us, and they are very beautiful also. Do you think so? Of course, they are very beautiful, isn't it, children? Likewise, we have the animals also. Different types of animals, different shaped animals with different colors also. Of course, even they are very attractive. Of course, you all know about wild animals and pet animals. At the same time, now we are speaking about non living and living things. So, among the non living things, there are natural non living things, while some others are made by man. Isn't it, children? Which are the natural non living things? For example, we have the sun, moon, rocks, and water and air. All these are natural non living things. Whereas man has made, manufactured some of the things for his own use. Which are they? It may be paper, cloth, car, television, and computers. So, all these are manufactured by man. They are made by human beings for their comfort, isn't it? Yes, of course, all these paper, cloth, car, television, and computers, and many more things are non living things made by human beings. Let us study the characteristics of living things. Living things will show some particular characters which are not seen in case of non living things. First of all, living things move on their own. Move on their own in the sense you might have seen the animals moving from one place to another. Yes, of course, all the animals will move from one place to another in search of food and shelter. Of course, and to escape from their enemies also. They run quickly, they run very quickly and fast in order to escape from their enemies. Whereas plants, do you think plants will move? They will not move from one place to another, but they show some movement, like it may be their growth towards the sunlight, isn't it? Plant will bend towards the sunlight. That is also a type of movement seen in them. But they cannot move from place to place since they are fixed in soil, they are fixed in one place. Plants will not move around for food. And you know what? Plants can prepare their own food. Whereas non living things normally do not move on their own. Somebody else must carry them to other places. Then only they can move, isn't it? Living things need air, water, and food. All the living things need air. They breathe air. All the animals and plants will breathe air. They drink water and they eat food to live. Otherwise, they cannot survive. They will die. If they do not get these things, it may be air, water, or food, they will die. Of course, non living things do not need all these things. They don't want air, nor water, nor the food to live. At the same time, I said that plants can prepare their own food. How they can prepare their own food? It is because of a substance known as chlorophyll in them. They have a green pigment known as chlorophyll that makes the plant look green in color. So, this chlorophyll substance will help them to make their own food by using sunlight. At the same time, they will use carbon dioxide from the atmosphere or from air, and they will use water also, which is present in the soil. So, with the help of chlorophyll and in the presence of sunlight, by taking carbon dioxide and water, plants can prepare their own food, and this process is known as photosynthesis. What is photosynthesis? Preparation of the food by the plants using sunlight, chlorophyll, preparation of the food by the plants by using sunlight, carbon dioxide, and water is known as photosynthesis. But animals do not have chlorophyll. Okay, that you have to understand. Animals will not have chlorophyll. As I said, animals do not have chlorophyll, so they cannot prepare their own food. Hence, what they have to do for the food? They have to depend on plants. They have to eat the plants, or else they have to eat the other animals for food. You all know about carnivorous animals, isn't it, children? Yes, they kill the other animals and they have their food. At the same time, herbivorous animals will eat the plant products. Living organisms such as mushrooms do not have chlorophyll. So, not only the animals will lack chlorophyll, even the mushroom organisms like mushroom. Do you all know about mushrooms? Of course, you might have eaten some of the mushrooms, isn't it? Of course, you see them in the rainy season. And most of the mushrooms are edible, and some of them are very poisonous also. You cannot eat all the mushrooms. So mushrooms do not have chlorophyll, hence they are not green in color. And these mushrooms grow on dead animals or plants or dead and decaying bodies, and they will derive the nutrients from the dead and decaying matter. Can you see the picture here? Of course, here this is the picture of photosynthesis where the leaves are green in color because of the presence of chlorophyll. So when chlorophyll is there, the plant will absorb the sunlight, and in the presence of sunlight, they will take carbon dioxide and water also and prepare their own food. And that process is known as photosynthesis. So during the process, oxygen is given out. And you all know that oxygen is very much important for all the living organisms. Even we breathe oxygen, isn't it, children? Of course, the air must contain oxygen, then only the living beings can live peacefully. So, this is the picture about photosynthesis. The next characteristics of living things is that all the living things are made up of cells. Can you see the picture here? This is the picture of a leaf of a plant as seen under a microscope. So can you see the small compartments here? Small structures, tiny structures together? Of course, this is the cells. All the cells are together, isn't it? This picture is as seen under a microscope. So most of the living beings have cells which are very small. So we cannot see them as it is with our eyes. So we use an instrument known as microscope. So in case of microscope, we can see the smallest thing in them. Okay? If we take small things also, we can see through the microscope and it seems to be bigger. And we can see them clearly. There in the microscope, we have lens, and our body also contains millions of cells, and each cell is different. We have different shaped cells also. More about the cells you will be studying in your higher classes. And one organism is there known as amoeba. Can you see the picture here? Yes. So this is a single-celled organism. It is also called as unicellular organism. Uni means it is only one-celled organism. And amoeba can do all its work with this single cell only. It can change the shape also. Amoeba has no definite shape. It can change its shape also. Because with this one cell, it has to move from one place to another also. So it can change its shape. If we study about the cell in detail, we can say amoeba is unicellular, whereas human beings are multicellular. Multi means many. We have many cells, isn't it? Different shaped cells. So, human beings are multicellular, whereas amoeba is unicellular organism. Understood? Okay. Living things grow and change. When you were a baby, you were carried by your parents. When you were in LKG, you were very small. So, what about now? You have grown, isn't it? And you have changed a lot. Your height has increased, you have gained weight. So, from this example, we come to know that all the living things will grow and they change to become an adult. One day, even you will become an adult like your parents. So, all the living things will grow and change. Ultimately, all the living things will grow old and they die also. Whereas non-living things do not grow, they remain as it is. The next point is living things will respond to change. All the living things will react to the changes around them. For example, when you feel hot, what you will do? You will switch on the fan or you will drink water, isn't it? When a dog feels hot, it pants to keep cool. That means it will breathe with short and quick breaths in order to keep itself cool. If somebody is throwing a stone towards you, you will duck to avoid getting hit. That means you will lower the head, you will bend down, and you will avoid being hit, isn't it? So, the sense organs in animals will help to feel the changes in the surroundings. All the animals will respond to the changes in the surroundings. Sometimes when your father will beat, when your mother will beat you, what you will do? You will cry. That means you feel that pain, so you will cry. All that changes is due to the sense organs in you. The sense organs in animals will help them to feel the changes in their surroundings. So they respond, they react to the changes in the surroundings. Do you think plants will also respond to the changes around them? Of course, yes, even the plants also react, they will respond to the stimulus. So, you might have seen a touch me not plant. As you touch the leaves, it will just close, isn't it? You might have seen the bud of a sunflower plant which moves to face the sun. The garden plants in your house always face towards the sunlight. Yes, if you have indoor plants in your house, they face towards the sunlight, isn't it, children? Of course. So, all these are the response to the surroundings changes by the plants. Whereas non living things cannot sense changes in their surroundings and cannot respond to them. The characteristic of living beings is to reproduce. Reproduction means giving birth to young ones of its own kind. All the living beings will produce young ones of their own kind. That is known as reproduction. And it is very much necessary for the continuity of that particular plant or animal species. Animals reproduce by giving birth to babies or by laying eggs. Many animals will give birth directly to young ones. Some animals are there which will lay eggs and they hatch the eggs and the young ones will come out from the eggs. Most plants reproduce by producing seeds or spores. You all have seen varieties of seeds, isn't it, children? Of course. So, plants reproduce by producing seeds or spores. Spores are smaller than seeds. Some plants even grow from stems, roots, or leaves. You might have seen if you cut off the stem of a rose plant and if you put it in the soil and if you water it regularly, it becomes a new plant. Yes, of course. Non-living things do not reproduce. The characteristic cannot be seen in case of non-living thing. Non-living thing will not reproduce. Grouping things. While studying about the characteristics of things, scientists place them in groups of similar things. Whenever we group them, the similar things with the similar characteristics are put together. Then they study the things in a group together. When the things with similar characters are put together, it makes easier for the scientists to study, or for the study, it is easier. This makes their study easier. All the things that have life are placed under the group of living things, and all those without life are placed under the group of non-living things. So, the things that have life will be placed in one group, and the things without life are placed under non-living things. In this lesson, you have already studied about the characteristics, features of living things, isn't it? So recall once again. Of course, all the living things will move from place to place. Then, living things are made up of cells. Living things will grow and change. They will respond to stimulus. They will produce their young ones. So all these are the characteristics which is seen in case of living beings, whereas non-living beings will not show all these characters. So they are grouped differently. Among the living things also, we have two major groups, that is plants and animals. Can you see all the things are grouped into living things and non-living things? Among the living things, we have two groups, that is plants and animals. Why? Because plants and animals are completely different from each other. The way they live, eat, and move and reproduce is completely different from one another. Both plants and animals are further divided into smaller groups, and you will be studying about these groups in your higher classes. So, in this lesson, we have studied about living things and non living things. Again, living things characteristics we have studied, non living things characteristics also we have studied, and how to group them into living and non living we all know now. So, living things are again or further divided into plants and animals. Again, plants and animals are further divided. So, about that, we will be studying in our higher classes. Did you all understand the lesson, children? Hope everybody have understood the lesson.